How to prepare your home service business for AI search. And my name is Phil Risher. We have an agenda today, and we're going to be giving away those free things that I mentioned before. So what we're going to talk about today is, what is AI search? Why does preparing your business matter now more than ever? How to actually rank in AI search, and I'm going to give you 7 parts. We're going to give away the free 20-part checklist for joining today. We're going to talk about things that you need to do now, weekly and monthly. We're going to talk about traditional SEO stuff still matter. We're going to talk about AEO, GEO, and SEO and what all this stuff means. I'm going to walk you through how to train large language models on your business and the content that you need to do to train it. We're going to talk about creating a flywheel of content to train your AI for AI search platforms, and the land grab happening in AI search and how to take advantage of it. And finally, we're going to wrap it up, which this part's going to probably blow your socks off, which is the future of content and leveraging AI. This part to me is pretty crazy. What this is going to get to, and we're going to build all the way to this. It's going to be money. So let's get right into this. How do I know about this stuff? I started blogging in 2015. I was writing 3 blog posts every single week by hand. I built my blog to about 40,000 visitors every single month, all just by writing content on the internet and learning how to do SEO. Then in 2018, I got into the trades. I started working at a home service business that was doing 3 million, and I took all the digital marketing stuff and I put it into practice, and that business went from $3 million to $5 million in 2 years, and then sold to private equity. The owner of that business was like, hey, you need to go help other businesses grow using digital marketing. So I started a digital marketing company for home service businesses, and we test things out on businesses that we work with. So I know how to do this stuff. I've been doing it for years. Now with AI coming into play, I interviewed Marcus Sheridan 2 times on the podcast, literally one-on-one conversations for an hour, asking every single thing about SEO, AI, what we should be doing to prepare. I also interviewed Neil Patel, who's probably the OG SEO expert. Similar thing, got on a call for an hour, one-on-one conversation. What do we need to do to prepare for AI search? We're going to talk about some of those things today. And in fact, we have real results from our customers generating hundreds of thousands of dollars from AI search. For example, this guy, wow, that came from ChatGPT, $17,000 landscaping job with a $5,000 add-on for jellyfish, over $20,000 for that. This company, I was just very excited because I asked the customer how they heard about us, and she said she asked ChatGPT to choose the best carpet cleaning company, and they told us. This person just spoke with Jordan, one of the leads from Game of Sunday. She told me she found us through ChatGPT. I assume it's pulling data from Google, but it's awesome. So all this to say, we have clients that are getting customers from ChatGPT and generating real revenue from ChatGPT. So we know that what we do works, and that's what we're going to lay out for you today. So real quick, we have people that signed up for this, literally, that say, what the heck is AI search? And other people that are, AI experts. So we have a wide gamut of these people. And so we're going to go through what is AI search, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of it. So for any business, there's traditional search on Google, a search that would look like this: HVAC contractor near me. And there's 4 parts to this search: Google local service ads, Google search ads, the map pack, and then on-site SEO. This is your website rankings. Nothing here really that pops up on SEO. The next layer to this is what's called generative search, which is, let's say that we change up the search query for how much does hiring an HVAC contractor near me cost? Well, you still have your ads, Google LSA, and you have Google search ads, but now there's an AI overview section here, which this is Google AI pulling in data that it's built and saying, hey, this is what it should cost you. And you can see that it's linking out to different websites, but it's giving an AI overview of what it recommends or what it thinks. This is the evolution of search based off of the queries that happen, which we're going to talk about what this means for your business. And then the last one is straight up, I'm going to ChatGPT. I'm not going to Google, and I'm bypassing this and going to ChatGPT, and I'm asking it for best gutter cleaning company in a specific area near me. And this is a real search that's happening, and these are the results that are happening, which we're going to talk about how you should be preparing your business to show up in searches like this. All right. So we talked about what is AI search. Now we're going to talk about why does preparing your business matter now more than ever. So this is a recent study from Bright Local. This report is Bright Local is one of the top companies in the world for local SEO. And what they found, and this was from a couple months ago, what they found was that 80% of people are still using traditional search for finding home service businesses. 60% are still on search engines, 20% are in the map section, so 80% are still using traditional search platforms. 14% social media, 3% AI. What is more alarming about this is this stat right here. This stat shows that, and if you can't see this, I'm just going to explain it to you because it's kind of a small graph, but basically what this shows is that 74% of people using search engine are boomers. 62% of people using search engine are Gen X. 53% of people using search engine are millennials, and 42% of people using search engine for Gen Z. This is specifically for local searches. What this means is that people that are searching for local searches, so HVAC contractor near me, this is the breakdown based off of demographic. And as you can see that as boomers phase out, Gen Z in the next 2 to 5 years are the new homeowners. 42% of them are using search engines compared to 74% in boomers. Similar with maps. Maps is trending up because it's more of a newer feature. So boomers don't really use this. This is more the millennials like the maps because they like to see the reviews. And this is kind of the generation of millennials of they were built on maps. Now here's the next concerning piece of this, which is social media and AI. 26% of local searches happen from Gen Z on social media. 26% of local searches by Gen Z are on social media. 14% for millennials, 10% for Gen X, and AI, you can see it's 4%, 4%. Throughout this conversation, we're going to talk about how social media, content, and AI play hand in hand, which is why we're trying to position our companies in the next 2 to 5 years to be relevant on all these platforms, but more importantly, the land grab that's happening over here based off of the data that we have. One last report on this is that SEMrush, they're probably the largest SEO company in the world that most people would know. This is a recent report that they put out a couple months ago, is that AI search visitors to surpass traditional search visitors in 2028. This is the breakdown right now in 2025. You can see 2026, it's slowly happening with LLMs, ChatGPT, large language models are transitioning into 2028. So why does all this matter? It matters because search is shifting based off of age, and in the next 2 to 5 years, it's going to completely shift as people get more comfortable using AI and new generations come up that are doing search differently. They had this one quote in here that I'm going to bring up throughout this conversation. That is, AI search optimization isn't just about gaining visibility now, it's an investment in the future. Large language models learn by finding patterns in vast amounts of online content. By working to shape these patterns today, your brand could be presented more frequently, accurately, and favorably for years to come. I highlighted this because we're going to be talking about this throughout this conversation. All right, so we talked about what is AI search. We talked about why does preparing your business matter now more than ever. Now we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of how to rank for AI search. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to actually show you the 7 criteria, but I'm going to show you real examples of businesses, of a business that we work with that's doing all of this stuff and how you can set up your business. On top of that, I'm going to give you the free resource at the end of this section that's going to break down like what you actually need to do right now, weekly, and then monthly. All right, so here are the 7 steps to ranking for AI search. And how do I know this? The way that I know this is because I asked ChatGPT what criteria do you use to find local home service business to recommend to searchers. But more importantly, anyone could ask this, but like, what do you actually do? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to pull up a real example of a gutter cleaning company. This company right here, best gutter cleaning company in Charlottesville, Virginia. They're called Charlottesville Gutter Pros. They're a client of ours. You can see that they rank right here, number 1. And then you can see that they're also the top pick over here. And I'm going to break down all 7 of these. I'm going to explain what you need to do, and I'm going to show you real examples of how to do it for your business. All right, so the first one that we have here is reputation and reviews. Number 1, high average ratings on platforms like Google, Yelp, Angie, Home Advisor. I'm sure no one is surprised to hear that if you have more reviews, then AI search is going to say, hey, you should look at this company. One thing to note on this is consistent volume of recent reviews. Just because you have reviews doesn't mean that you need to stop getting reviews. And more importantly, responsiveness to negative reviews shows professionalism. So what does this mean for your business? All right. So if you do a search in your local area and you don't have the most reviews, well, that's going to be hurting you. So you need to get more reviews for your business. It's going to help you show. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you're responding to your Google reviews. If you do not respond to Google reviews like this, 1 stars in particular, but any reviews, Google even tells us that this is one of the ways that they rank businesses is by responding to reviews. So very important here. Nothing earth-shattering here. The next couple things I'm going to show you are very, very tangible things that you need to be doing for your business that's going to help you in AI search. Number 2, local presence and service area. What does this mean for your business? I'm going to read it and then I'm going to show you the examples. So obviously have a verified local address and phone number. You're going to have this on your Google Biz profile, but make sure this is on your website. 2, clear service area coverage matching the search's location. This is important. So when you go to your website, we'll just pull up their website. You want to have a section on your site, and you might not have a landing page like this, but what you want to have, all right, y'all are still with me, good. Okay, cool. What you want to have on your site is services that areas that you serve. So you want specific pages like this because as you can see here, they say, hey, you need to have clear service area coverage matching the searcher's location. So what you do is you build out specific service area pages. You can have a nice little map like this, but you build out service area pages that says that you service this area, this area, this area, this area, this area. On top of that, you want to make sure that you have three things on your website that are clean: your title tag, meta description, and H1. And when I say clean, what I mean is your title tag says the service that you offer with the city that you offer it in. Your meta description talks about the service that you're offering with the city that you do it in. And then the H1, the service that you offer with the city that you do it in. These are triggers back to Google, but also back to AI search that's saying that yes, you do this service in this area. So it's very important to have these service area pages built out on your website. And the way that you can do this as well is you can build out a page just for Keswick and very similar: title tag, meta description, and then H1. All right, so we got that section for local presence and service area. If you do local community things, make sure that you talk about it. If you sponsor a golf hole, maybe do a blog post, search a social media post about it, but make sure that you're talking about these things because they also want to see that you do things in the local area. All right, next, this is very, very important, is licensing, insurance, and certifications, and we see this one missed all the time. So, of course, as we're in business, we have proper licensing required by the state. Of course, you have that if you're in business. However, you need to make it known online that you have this stuff. And how can you do that? So first that we're going to talk about is industry certifications. So if you're with NATE, if you're an HVAC contractor, then maybe you're NATE certified, so you put that on your website. If you do restoration, then you put that on your website if you're IICRC certified. And the way that you would do this is like on your homepage. In gutter cleaning, they don't have this. So they don't have certifications that you can get. So he doesn't have them, but you would list them here like certifications and you list them all out. But what we did for him, which I'm going to show this is very important, is proof of liability insurance. I'm not saying that you have to put your certificate of insurance on your website. What I am saying is that if you don't have industry certifications, this is one way that you can stand out as a business. So what we did for him was we added his insurance COI right here, and you have his certificate of insurance online, which then shows, hey, they have real certificate of liability insurance. One thing that I want to note on this, as I'm talking through this, it's not like just whatever content, right? Because this is just a picture of it. AI, large language models, even Google, they're just going through and looking at your site. Like they're seeing the page load speed. They're seeing, do you have a chat widget? Do you have a phone number up here? They're looking at this information, not just the text that's on these pages. They want to get a vibe for your site. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to like type out all this stuff. Just have it on your website. Very important. All right, next is service quality and reliability. So how can you demonstrate this from your website? Again, this is very important. We're going to have this in our checklist, but fast response times and availability. If you do emergency service 24/7, have that on your website and talk about that in your content. Professional website with clear service descriptions. What does this mean? Having services pages. So let's say that you do, I think we had a moving company on here. Let's say you do long distance moving, local moving, storage, any other types of moving or clean outs that you might do. You want to have specific services built out for all these things because you need to have clear services that you offer. What this is going to allow them to see is that you do this service and you talk about the service that you do. So it's a professional website with clear service descriptions. Next, huge opportunity for every single business is adding a transparent pricing option to your website. You could do this in the form of an estimate calculator, or you could do it in the form of a pricing page on your website like this. A pricing page is going to talk about, okay, well, basic price for this is this, basic price for this is that. Here's a nice little graph for the difference between us and them. Here's what makes the price go up. Here's what makes the price go down. And here's what you need to know. This crushes. This builds transparency and honesty. And we're going to talk about this in the next section. But when we talk about AEO, answer engine optimization, this right here is gold. So have a transparent pricing page or something. You don't have to give your pricing out, right? You can say, hey, if you're going to hire a moving company, you could hire them by the hour, or you could pay a flat fee for this. And here's kind of the things that you need to know. And here's a guide for what makes it go up and what makes it go down. You're educating the customer and training the large language models that you're the authority in the space because you're talking at a high level and explaining things to people. Last one, warranty or guarantee. If you have guarantees on your work, talk about it on your website, share that guarantee. They want to know this stuff. All right, the 5th out of 7 is customer experience. Easy scheduling process. So when we talk about on their website, if we go to their page here, we have a get a quote button. We have a schedule visit, they have online scheduling, they have a chat widget, and they have their phone number here. One other thing to this is on mobile, you want to make sure that you make it really clean. I'm just going to pull up a mobile site. And clean means you want to have your call to actions here, and we always recommend having them as sticky headers. So as people are scrolling, it's very easy to do business with you. They care a lot about your customer experience. Throughout this whole thing that I'm sharing right now, think about this. ChatGPT, AI search, large language models, Google, Bing. They never want to recommend someone who's going to make them look bad because you're going to lose trust in that platform. So all of these things that I'm explaining to you to do are good things to do for your business. It's going to help them grow. But more importantly, these platforms want to be seen as the go-to platform. So they want to give the best shot at it that they can, which is why you want to add these things to your website and make sure that you're doing them. All right, customer experience, clear communication before, during, and after service. So maybe you have a process page on your website of here's our process. We come out, we do an inspection, we go here, we order your stuff, we come out to your home, do that. And then respect for customers' property and cleanliness, professionalism. This one is pretty cut and dry. Don't use stock photos on your website. Share real videos and pictures to show your professionalism. Show your guys and logoed stuff. Show your trucks. Show all of this is building the credibility. And again, like I said before, it's not just pictures. They're looking at your website and saying, okay, this is a legit company that we want to recommend. Next up, community trust and recognition. Local awards. We talked about that for their website, but they have local awards enlisted out from their commercial clients. So if you have local awards, make sure that you list them on your website. They care a lot about this because it's a local recognition, especially for local home service businesses. Any verified partnerships or reputable organizations or suppliers. Same thing right here. They talk about, hey, we did all this cool commercial work at all these different places. It's building up your community trust and recognition in the local area. And last thing, positive mentions in local news or community groups. If you've been featured in things, share that. Talk about it. Put it in your blog post, put it in your social content, and make sure that it's live. Don't just hide stuff off your website. All right, and the last one, digital presence and SEO signals. You need to make sure that you're still doing all the fundamentals for SEO. Why? When ChatGPT gets a search, what it's doing is it's going to Google and doing a search. It's going to Bing and doing a search. And it's pulling in all of this information. It wants to see active social media content. It wants to see good website SEO with title tags, meta description, H1s. It shows that you're a professional company that's doing all the right stuff, and it's going to be signals back to them. All right, so that right there is the 7 things that you need to do for your business, and I've outlined it. Actually, I'm going to put this on the screen. It's a free resource, and it's the AI Readiness Checklist. So let me put it on the screen, and then I'm going to actually go through it with you guys. Let's go here, AI Readiness Checklist, show. Okay, it should be on your screen. You can click this. We'll also put it in the chat. Seth over here, he's got the chat. He'll drop it in the chat. If not, it's right here. I'm going to walk you through what this actually is right now. All right, so one-time setup. Add online scheduling or booking form. Oh, real quick, everyone that's in here, if you need to make a copy of it, go to File and make a copy. I think it should be view only so you can't edit it. So just File, make a copy. So add online scheduling or booking form to your website. This is all one-time stuff. Create a clear pricing page for your website. Add reviews and testimonials section to your website. If you don't have the reviews listed out on your website, you need to add a section where people can see the reviews and read your reviews. He has it somewhere on his site, but have a scrolling thing of all your reviews. Insured site has mobile-friendly click-to-call buttons like what I showed you. Display licensing, insurance, and certifications. Add local awards. Claim and fully complete your Google Business Profile. Make sure everything's in there. Check your name, address, and phone number. Now, on a weekly basis, you want to make sure that you're getting 5 to 10 new reviews, or enough to be the most reviewed in your area. Big focus for this. Respond to all new reviews, positive or negative. Post 1 new content piece, video, frequently asked question, before, after, photo, tip. This can be on your website, on social media at least. Add a new job to your Google Business Profile. Go to your Google Business Profile, add pictures, follow up with last week's customers, thank them, and check satisfaction. It's hard to say that this is a digital thing, but in general, doing next day calls is going to build the reputation for your business, and it's going to allow people to start talking about you online, which is why I put this in here. Remind team to take before and after photos on every job. A lot of people say, well, I only have stock photos. I don't have real photos. Get your team bought into getting real before and after pictures. All right, on a monthly basis, create 1 new service area page. So create a service area page like what I showed you for every service area that you target. Publish 1 frequently asked questions style content piece. This could be, how much does it cost to get this? How often should I do this? Do a name, address, and phone number audit. So go to your Google Business Profile, Yelp, Facebook, make sure your name, address, and phone number line up. Add at least 1 new testimonial project photo to your website. Share 1 community update. Hey, we recognize over here. Hey, this person had us out to their home and did this. And then track review growth. Can't stress this enough. Like, you got to build a review culture in your business. And however, the next thing we're going to do is talk about why reviews, it's important, but reviews are not everything. And we're going to get into that in 1 second. Let me just check the chat real quick. Okay, Seth, you got that in there? Cool. We got some questions. We're going to have some time at the end for Q&A. We're going to pull these up on the screen and do them live. So we're good. We're rocking and rolling on this. All right. Next up, so we talked about how to rank in AI search. Does traditional SEO stuff still matter? AEO, GEO, SEO. You're going to hear all these acronyms for what is this AEO, GEO, SEO. So we're going to talk about that now. All right, answer engine optimization. What is this? So the search that we did here for best gutter cleaning company in Charlottesville, Virginia, this is a normal search that someone would do on Google. However, what we know about AI search, large language models, is that they're a much more interactive platform. People want to ask questions back and forth to find the best fit company for them. So they naturally are going to ask questions. For example, how much does gutter cleaning cost in Charlottesville, Virginia is a question that someone would ask ChatGPT to try to distill down who they should be working with. Now, this is very important. I want to highlight this. This is really what AEO is, answer engine optimization. If you notice, we did how much does gutter cleaning cost in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, look at this. What people are charging locally. You can see the sources. Look at the company that I showed you. And now look at the link that they're linking out to. It's the pricing page that we put online that explains their pricing guide. This is why creating content based off of frequently asked questions is so important. And when we talk about answer engine optimization, it's creating, a lot of people just have a frequently asked questions section on their website that's buried. It's creating content for how much does something cost? How long does it take? How often should I do it? This versus that, best rated. You want to create snippet style content. What that means is you want labels on your website that say, okay, how much does it cost to get your gutters cleaned on your website? And then you want to explain that. Here's a quick breakdown of our pricing. Below is a full explanation of all the factors. And it's very, very clear right here. And you saw that it's pulling from that. And you want to make it very, very streamlined and simple for them to understand and read this content. That is AEO, answer engine optimization. It's optimizing your content for answer engine optimization by creating content and not burying things in your frequently asked question, but doing the Marcus Sheridan, they ask you answer framework. Now, what is generative engine optimization? Generative engine optimization is what I showed you with the AI overview section, which is you want to create content that's structured, concise, and authoritative, specifically using what's called the EEAT principles. EEAT is expertise, experience, authority, and trust. These are the 4 things that Google tells us that they want to see in content. And when we did the search like this is a generative experience. It's pulling this, it's generating something, and this is it's showing these results. Now, we want to create the content that it's going to pull from and then link out to based off of what it's recommending. And the last thing, search engine optimization. Does this still matter? Yes, it matters. We saw that before when we looked at the real examples. More importantly, it matters now more than ever because what Google search is doing is it's an algorithm, and search engine optimization is optimizing your website to be shown on search. What AI search and large language models is doing is it's interpreting the data, interpreting the algorithm's results, and then making a judgment call based off of what it has learned through all the content, which we're going to talk about in a sec, through everything that it knows. It's going to do the search engine optimization. It's going to go to the algorithm. It's going to pull Bing. It's going to pull Google. It's going to say, hey, okay, this company's good. Then it's also going to pull from its knowledge base, which we're going to talk about in a sec, of what all, and put it all together and say, this is the company that we want. Okay. So we talked about, does traditional SEO stuff still matter? AEO, GEO, and SEO. Now we're going to talk about how to train large language models on your business. So we just shared, right? You want to do all the SEO stuff because it's important, but how do you actually train large language models? I want to go back to this quote. LLMs, large language models, learn by finding patterns in vast amounts of online content. By working to shape these patterns today, your brand could be presented more frequently, accurately, and favorably for years to come. What does this mean? If they find patterns in vast amounts of online content, if you want to train large language models, then you need to create vast amounts of online content to train these large language models. So how do you train them? LLMs are trained from content. And I'm going to pull this up. I think I have it pulled up right here. Okay. Does creating content train large language models about your business? I'm not going to go through this exact stuff. The one thing that I want to talk about is this, which is what actually happens when you create content. Your content gets indexed by Google and other platforms, which means large language models, powered search tools like Perplexity, Bing Chat, Google Gemini can surface its responses by pulling from the web in real time. Long-term effect. If your content is widely available and authoritative, it has a clear chance of being included in datasets for future large language models training rounds. All right, let's go back here. So in HVAC Contractor near me, we have this normal SEO search engine results page. We also have AI mode, but as of 3 months ago, short videos are now indexed on Google. Short videos are now indexed on Google. What that means is that they're taking Instagram Reels, Shorts, Reddit clips, TikTok, Facebook Reels, and they're pulling all of that stuff into what they're actually showing in results. So it's very fair to say that creating content is now being indexed because it truly is, but it's also going to be training these large language models in the future and now, and now as well. So what does this mean for your business? Short term, content helps with SEO, visibility, discoverability, and AI-driven search tools. Long term, content builds a digital footprint that could influence how future AI models understand your brand or industry. Very important. Best practice, create high quality, authoritative, and keyword-rich content so both humans and AI-driven systems recognize your business as a trusted source. All right, real quick, I'm going to put a bow on this, and then we're going to continue on to this. Home service businesses look at content all wrong, and it will crush them in the future, and I was one of them. I used to believe, from my SEO background, that it's all just about create more SEO content, get ranked on search engine results page because 80% of people are there, get people to my website and convert leads. That playbook still works right now, and it works great. However, it's changing. We just saw that 26% of Gen Z is doing searches on social. We also found that content is what's training these large language models, and if we want them to learn about our business, we need to create content. So by you creating any type of content, it's not to get likes and shares. It's not even to really get customers. We want that, right? We want customers. But what it is that it's future-proofing your business to be the authority when things shift all the way over to AI search and large language models by creating the content that they want to see. Okay, so what content you should be creating? Perfect tee up for this. We're going to give you this free resource as well, which is 52 content topics to boost your rankings in AI search. Seth, awesome. Thank you. You're already on top of it. And I'm going to put that right here for you. Show this. Okay. Here's the 52 content topics to boost your rankings. Now, if you have followed Marcus Sheridan, he has been talking about this for years. We've gone through and give you a little color commentary on these 5 categories: cost and price, problems, comparisons, reviews, and best in class. And we've taken these 5 categories and juiced them up. So what should you do for your business? Let's say we'll do the moving one again. How much does local moving cost in whatever city that you're from? How much does long distance moving cost in whatever city that you're from? Fill out all your services. How much does something cost? All of these breakdowns are going to go through and it's going to give you different ways, variations to talk about things. I made this specifically 52 content topics because you can make one every single week and you can check it off. I also want to give you the flexibility and the freedom that you have a bunch of services, so you should make this about every single service. And so this could be like 1 month's worth of content to create all this stuff. With comparisons, it's really important. You could compare your own services. Like, what is the difference between local moving and long distance moving? Well, it's the number of miles that you move or whatever that is. You could also do it versus, should you hire a guy for hourly or should you hire them for a project-based service? There's a bunch of different variations that you could do for this. What this is going to allow you to do is to create content that's going to help you rank for large language models. Now, this is very, very important. This next section here that we're going to talk about is the crazy part that is AI search, which I want to make sure that I hit this nail on the head and I want to hit a home run with this. And I want to make sure people are locked in. So the 52 content, same thing, go to file, make a copy. This is going to be important. You want to make this stuff. But this next section is really what's going to move the needle forward for a lot of businesses that most people are not talking about in home service. All right. So flywheel of content for your home service business. This is the big issue, okay? Gosh, I want to make this content. Okay, cool. You can make the content. But really what it comes down to is creating a flywheel of content in your business. And I want to share the 2 parts. You have subject matter experts, whether that's you, your customer service representative, your salespeople, talking about all of these questions, right? They get the question, how much does it cost to get my gutters clean? They get the question of, should I get my gutters clean now or in the spring? They get the questions, okay? Your salespeople and then your CSRs. Over here is you have your website, right? You have your website where you know you should be putting all this stuff. You have your social media, you know you should be putting all this stuff, but it's 2 separate entities. And businesses do not have this flywheel of connection. And I'm going to tell you what you do. First, you need to get call recordings. So you need to get a tracking number that listens to your calls and gives you transcripts, okay? Those transcripts from your CSRs can be taken and put into blog posts, into social media posts, into hooks for video content. And now you have a flywheel, and it's not just you creating all this content, it's taking what you already have and building out a content game plan. Next, sales recordings. If you have salespeople that go out on jobs or you go out and do sales calls, you get all the questions. If you were to look at this sheet, you're going to get all these questions at least once or twice, and you're going to know the answer to every single one because you're the experts, okay? What you do is you turn on voice memos on your phone or get an app or something for free, or pay for it, or just do voice memos for free. Turn on call recordings. Now, all those call recordings, you have them funnel over here. You take the call recordings and the transcripts, plug them into ChatGPT or something else and say, turn this into a blog post, turn this into social media posts. And now you have this flywheel effect. So you have stuff coming from your subject matter experts going onto your website into social media platforms. And now you have all the new questions coming back over here into your CSR, into your salespeople, and it creates this flywheel effect for your business. This is the content system that a lot of businesses want, but it's who's going to do this and how do I know how to do this and what to do. So we're going to talk about that. This is the land grab that's happening in AI search and the future of content and leveraging AI. All right. Remember, finding LLMs, which are training these AI platforms, they learn by finding patterns in vast amounts of online content. So I just laid out a content system to create this, and I gave you the 52 ways to create content. Here's the land grab. Content for social is important now because Gen Z searches for local there, and it's going to be shifting. It's not about likes and comments. It's about interest. The TikTokification of social media. Before, you used to get a bunch of followers on social media and they'd show you to their followers. Now, it's all about interest. If someone searches for gutter cleaning, then they go on TikTok, they're going to get gutter cleaning stuff. That's just how it works. If they search for gutter cleaning stuff on TikTok, they're going to get more gutter cleaning stuff. That's how it works. So content is more important now than ever. Here's the problem. Home service businesses traditionally don't like making content, just like me, because it was like, I'm not going to get anything out of it. So there's a huge land grab happening because there's not enough content about this stuff to actually train these platforms. There's not enough content on social media, on YouTube, even on blogs about your business that's real. A lot of people are just going to ChatGPT, getting already created things and then putting that over there. That's not real. This is why you need to create real stuff. So content is training large language models in AI search. Old school businesses sitting pretty on Google will get crushed. These old school businesses that have 4,000 reviews, they have $100,000 ad budgets, they're sitting pretty on Google right now. And they think the old school way, which is that content is not important. So they're about to get crushed because these companies that are coming in and creating content and building the authority, they're going to have the land grab when everything shifts over there. We already saw that happening. But wait, this part is going to blow your socks off. There are more benefits that we have not talked about. And this is the part that I think people are not even thinking about this in home service, and they should be, okay? This is the future of content and leveraging AI. We have an AI avatar that's trained on everything that I've ever said. It's this right here. It's called Delphi.ai, Flash Consulting, okay? In the future, what if you could give this to your new hires? You could give this to your customer service representatives. You could give this to your salespeople and your customers. We give it to our team internally. And we say, hey, if you ever have any question, ask it a question. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to cite the source. It's going to find the YouTube video. It's going to find the SOP file that you've uploaded. It's going to find this file. It's going to find this video. And it's going to tell it exactly where to go. And it's also going to give them an example of what to say. So should I run ads or do B2B partnerships? It's going to literally tell you everything that I've ever said. And it's going to cite the sources here. These AI avatars, I'm telling you, it's the future. And the future being, it's going to help you duplicate yourself. It's going to help you train your new team members. It's going to help you create content, right? You can ask it questions based off what content did I create before? What should I create next? It's also going to help you in your sales process, right? Who's following up with your leads? Imagine this could follow up with your leads. You gave this to your customers inside of your sales process and say, if you ever have any questions, go here and ask it a question. What if this was on your website? And it's like, hey, here's an interactive tool where you can call, text, voice chat with this thing. Here's the problem, is that when this stuff, AI avatars, all this, like I'm saying this and people are probably like, oh my gosh, I want this. When you don't have the content to backfill it, you haven't created any content for your business. Maybe you have SOPs, but you haven't given it anything. You haven't fed it anything. You're going to be stuck and you're going to wish that you had done it sooner, which is why you need to create the content. And this is the full circle thing, is that one, AI search is the future. Large language models are trained on content, and content is not just about getting shown on search, which we want. It can also be used to educate and build AI avatars in the future, which is why you need to start creating content now. All right. To summarize, search is shifting to social and AI in the next 2 to 5 years. AI search is built on solid SEO, digital fundamentals, and content creation. You should do the right digital marketing things now and create AI search relevant content to prepare your business now. The content you create will compound and help with the next shift with AI avatars. But here's the problem. Most business owners, they want to do this stuff. If you're under $1 million, I would say you have time to do this, and you could probably piece it together, and you could use some freelancers and build stuff out. You could use Opus clips. You could get and record the stuff. If you're over $10 million, you can hire internal people to at least make content for you. But if you're between 1 and 10 million, you have limited bandwidth for the owner, and you can't own these things and also run these things and run your business. And this is literally like why I built my company, because we do all the right SEO digital fundamentals. We have done for you video content creation for AI search. We literally create video content for business owners that we work with. And we coach them on this stuff. We take the land grab that's coming in home service, and we use strategic digital marketing, CRM, and automation to help companies grow. So if this is something that's interesting to you, I'll put the link in the chat. You can schedule a meeting with us. Man, I'm good. 40 minutes. I literally said I want to get 40 minutes and then I want to hit Q&A. Seth.
Hey guys. A few questions for you, Phil. Good one here is, if I'm already investing in SEO, like what should I tell my agency? Do I need to do anything different for AI search, or will my current efforts carry over? You touched on that a little bit, but what's your advice there?
Yeah, I would say, so there's two types of SEO. There's on-site SEO and off-site SEO. When you think about on-site SEO, it's creating those service area pages and creating blog content based off frequently asked questions. So if you're paying for SEO and they're creating stuff on your website, one, you want to make sure that they're creating these service area pages so that way you rank for these keywords. But two, ask them about how they're creating content. Because if they're just going to ChatGPT and getting the fluff stuff, that's already been, the large language models already know that stuff. So really you want new stuff going on your website that's unique to you and authoritative. So that's the first part. The offsite SEO, which like your Google business profile, your Yelp listings, all that. What you want to make sure is that your Google business profile, that they're doing an audit every single month. So you want to make sure that you're adding new pictures to your website, you're responding to your reviews, your name, address, and phone number match up across the board, that you're having posts going on your Google business profile, because you can post on there as well. If someone does marketing, hopefully they do all this stuff, but really you want to make sure that they're doing the core stuff correctly and that they're setting you up for the future. Sometimes with SEO companies, right, they're doing SEO, but you don't really know what they're doing. Those are the real tangible things. The checklist, if you were to go through that with them and say, like, what are we doing here? What are we not doing? They would probably say, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. But that's a good guideline for it.
Okay, great. And then what's your take on, are paid ads still going to matter in an AI first search world?
Yeah, so this actually recently came up, like a week or two ago, where ChatGPT had paid ads that they were showing inside of their results, or Google AI mode was showing some type of ads in their results. This was for like if someone was trying to buy something. I think for home service, there is going to be some layer of ads that happen because these companies have to monetize somehow. I also think that it's going to be a lot more layers to the interaction before it makes a recommendation on ads. So for example, like if someone is asking about gutter cleaning, it might have some qualifying questions and then show them a Google local service ad that they would then like pay for that lead. So it's going to try to drill down to the warmest lead for them and then charge the company for that lead. That's my vision for it. I think gone is the days of like, the auction and search engine, search ads of like paying to be number one. I could be wrong on this, but I feel like it's going to get a lot more personalized conversation and showing the authority and not just like, hey, paid ads and just stick your ad right here.
Cool. Here's a good one about content. When creating content on TikTok or IG Reels, I know the content of the video matters, but would the captions keywords be the biggest component to rank?
Good question. So in fact, everything is transcribed now. So like even if you upload something on YouTube, it's going to be transcribed with captions. And so you don't necessarily have to put a caption underneath of it to say, hey, this is what's inside of this video. It's already going to capture what you're saying and it's going to be indexed in. One like good thing to do with this is if you're creating that type of content is take the captions or the transcripts and create them into blog posts and then get the videos on your website and use them inside of your email newsletters. It allows you to repurpose your content, not just one and done, but your content's already going to be transcribed and captions are going to be pulled anyways.
This one's about reviews, but I know you'll have a good answer. For Google reviews, how can we get clients to write full reviews, ideally with keywords in it, rather than just leaving 5 stars and nothing else?
Yeah, awesome. So I just actually had a Jobber podcast that came out about this yesterday. So the first thing you can do is encourage your team to have your name mentioned in there. So what this looks like is like when you ask for a review, say, hey, my name's Phil. If you don't mind mentioning me in your review, that would be great. First, then it will like guide them to say, Phil was really great. He did a great job doing X, Y, and Z. So it will give them the guidance to make sure that they mention you so you get credit, but also they're gonna have to type something anyways. The other thing would be to share before and after pictures with them. So even if you go out on a job and you just take a picture on your phone and a picture after and then text it to them and say, hey, do you mind putting that in your review when you share what your experience was with the company? It's a really nice way to just like ease them into doing the right stuff, adding pictures and explaining stuff in there without saying like, hey, make sure that you say we're the best in the but like give them the starting point and let them go from there.
Okay, so for the busy folks, if I only have one time, or if I only have time to fix one thing before busy season, for example, where should I focus?
Yeah. Well, that checklist, it gives you the things to do right now. So I would say like definitely build out a pricing page on your website. Make sure that you have some type of online scheduling or booking chat widget. Like do all those things because that stuff doesn't take very long. And if you have a digital marketing company, like they could help you with that. The other thing would be commit to consistent content creation. I know it's hard for a lot of business owners, but like even if you just pull out your phone and like, hey, how much does it cost to get X, Y, and Z done? And just record a quick video, 1 minute, and just post that with some captions. It's better than nothing. And at least then you can turn it into a blog post, have it on your website, use it inside of your sales funnel. So that would be it. Like do the stuff that I said to do right now. Doesn't take you very long. Worst case, make a pricing page and then commit to creating content because it's going to help you in the long run.
Okay, if anybody has any others, put them in now. The last one we've got currently is how do I measure whether AI search is bringing me customers or that I'm getting results there?
Okay, great question on this. So a couple things. One, in Google Analytics GA4, you can actually see the source. So you can see the source of your traffic. And if you have events set up, then you can see the source of the events. That's one way. Another way is on your form, you can literally ask people how they heard about you, or you can set up a smart form that would actually pull where this initial referral came from, and then you could put that in there. I think for a lot of people, they want to credit things, and people are going to say, I think right now it's like, I found you on ChatGPT because it's like really cool and novel. Eventually, you're not really going to know, which is why you want to have that source UTM parameters or something built into your forms. But I don't think that, I think right now, just by asking people, how did you hear about us? They're going to say ChatGPT if it's something that's cool and novel. So those are the two ways. What we do is like we have forms on the website that pull UTMs. So we can see, did they come from here? Did they come from there? And then, we can see like, did they come from Facebook or Yelp or ChatGPT, that kind of stuff.
Excellent. If anybody has anything else that comes up, I put a link to, you can book a call with us and just, we can kind of give you in-depth answers on all this stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I pulled up the list of the questions that people came on that they asked when they were coming in. Let me just go through them real quick. Here's a good one. The role of traditional assets, Google Business Profile, website, social channels, and AI summary references. As I mentioned, like Google Business Profile website, it's pulling all of this content in AI summaries. So the more that you can give it content, more you can make sure that it's relevant and updated, right? You don't want your stuff sitting there. You want to make sure that it's clean and updated. That's going to help with rankings because they said it's like they want real content that's fresh. I like to see what source ChatGPT. Okay, well, we just talked about this. Step-by-step instructions to scale for smaller contractors. If I was a small contractor and I was just getting started with AI search, I would literally start creating content today. I would take those things and create as much content as possible, blog content, social media content, and I'll give you one other silver bullet on this. Gary Vee talks a lot about this, which is day trading attention. You create all this content, and then whatever content pops off or gets a lot of views, you turn that into your ads. Specifically when it comes to ads in like the social platforms, a lot of people just waste a lot of money just saying, hey, I'm going to try Facebook ads, when really what they need to be doing is saying, let me try organic content, whatever works best, now use that for running ads. And that's literally why we actually started video content for our clients, because we're like, hey, we need to make video content if we're going to run social ads, and here's the best way to trial it out instead of wasting your money to trial it out. So that's a really good one. Space out the content, or can we upload all at once, blogs, etc.? Okay, this is a good question. This used to be a thing before where it was like when you had a lot of followers, you don't want to post too much because then you might get limited reach. Now it's spray and pray, baby. Like, I mean, if you listen to Gary Vee, if you listen to any other social media people, they basically say just like post it. You could post one thing and then post another thing, and the next thing, it's all the interest graph now. It's a TikTokification. So it's like, hey, this one people like, this one they don't, and it's going to test it out and then see. So I would say don't worry about like the timing of things. With blogs and that, don't worry about the timing of things. Post the blogs up there. One thing to note about this, there is something to say about timing actually with blogs and website pages. If you have duplicate content and you're just pulling stuff from ChatGPT and it's not unique, do not post a bunch of it all at once because it's not going to get indexed, and in fact, it's going to actually hurt you. So like what we do is we usually do like one blog post, one service area page, and wait till that indexes, you know, in the first week, couple weeks or month. Then we go to the next thing, blogs and service area pages, and we let it index and go clean. If you just bombard your website with a bunch of trash, it's going to hurt your rankings in the long run. It's going to hurt your authority. It's going to hurt the trust in the long run. So you really want to do this right when you're going to do it. Now for social content, it doesn't matter. Like, let it go. But with your website stuff, it is very important to build trust, and you got to be certain the stuff that you're adding is not plagiarized. So like what we do, you know, obviously we use AI and other things to write things, but we also have a human touch, and we run it through plagiarism checkers. We want to make sure that we're adding unique content to the websites, not junk or fluff that's not going to be indexed, because that's not going to help you, and it's in fact it's going to hurt you.
Another one I don't think we've caught yet was what are the best AI prompts to optimize and rank for home service leads? Do you have a take on that?
Yeah. So AI prompts to optimize for home service leads in particular. Okay. You know, it's funny. Like I was playing around with this and asking, like, okay, how could I use ChatGPT to get me the quickest leads without any personal touch, right? Like, because right now AI is more of like a helper for getting leads for businesses. Some of the things that I think are unique is, hey ChatGPT, can you help me find a list of all the recent people that moved into a home last year or last month? Where can I find that? Then I want to send these people an email, a mailer, or something, or go to their neighborhood or something like that. What should I send to these people or do, and how can I get their email addresses or whatever? And then how can I contact them? So I think that there's a way to use AI to get leads, but I think the practical use of this is more in the AI search and positioning yourself, just like with Google search. Is like you want people to go there when they're comfortable going there and find your business. But for finding leads in particular, it's hard to like lead gen through AI from what I've found so far.
Steven might also be asking about like thinking of it from an SEO perspective, but AI, like what keyword phrases the searcher would be searching that might be different than a traditional SEO keyword phrase to optimize for.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, what like this is something that we're trying to do as an agency, and a lot of people are trying to figure this out. Is like there's not really much clarity. Like with Google, you know, you can see Google Search Console, so you can see like the keywords. You can go to Google Keyword Planner and you can see the volume. But in AI search, you don't really know because there's no data on it. Like they're not saying, oh, this many people asked this question or they phrase it like this. What I can say is that holistically, the best type of content that you can create is whatever your customers are asking. How much does this cost? How often should you do this? Like the list that I gave you, because that's going to use the real information that your customers are asking. The only other thing to this I would say is if you have calls transcribed, listen to the way your customers say things and then make content like that, because that's going to be really directly from your customers and creating content. Yeah, it's kind of hard because the data's not there. I think Steven will probably agree. Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe he has some thoughts on it. He could put it in the chat, but like that's what we've seen. Okay, facts. Thanks, bro. Exactly. All right, cool. I think that was. I think I hit most of the other ones on here. All right, cool. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you hanging out. I might give it a couple more minutes if there's any other questions. If anyone wants to call in, I think they can even just call in like you did, Seth, or put it in the chat. If not, everyone's cool to hop off. If you have any feedback for me in the chat here, or even in the email that you got, the emails come directly to me. I would love to hear your feedback on this. If we should do more of these, if there's something that was good, something that was bad. Love to hear the feedback, and really appreciate everyone for joining the call today. And hopefully we'll do this again soon. Thanks, guys.